Yeah, what's up, guys? Reporting from Birmingham at the moment, and I just want to talk about Kamala Harris. Well done to Kamala Harris. She's now officially been made as Joe Biden's running mate, and I really want to talk about that for a little because this has changed everything, guys. It really has. And listen, it was the worst kept secret in politics. We knew what was going on. We knew how qualified she was. This woman was actually running for president, and she had a 2% swing in terms of her favor. And she ran out of money, as a lot of people did. Like Andrew Yang, uh, Amy Klobuchar, a lot of people just ran out of money. In fact, about 9 of them did. And when you're in a situation like that, you fought the best fight that you can. She really went toe to toe with Joe Biden, and I think it's kind of a mix of where Joe Biden's character was, because 12 years ago, it was him that pushed Obama. Yeah, he pushed Obama, and he frustrated Obama. And what happened was Obama ended up picking him because that's the kind of guy that you want as your number two. You want somebody who can speak for themselves, not someone who's a yes man or someone who's a puppet. You want someone to stand up and make you accountable. And Biden did that for Obama. And I believe with what he did with Obama, he's actually doing the same thing with Kamala. Kamala pushed back on him. Yeah, she criticized him for busing. She criticized him for a few bills that he passed. And look, he held his hand up and he actually apologized for those bills. So in this regard, this is what people want. People want decency, and I always talk about this is decency versus indecency. And at the end of the day, people just want something back to normal. And they want someone who, even when he does make mistakes, is accountable for those mistakes. And so Biden has pretty much set himself up in a way that he will be even more accountable with Camilla by his side. So for her, look, there was a choice of 4 people in the running mate. And the 4 people, Gretchen, Whitmer, I think, when I think about Gretchen, she was probably the least qualified. She's been a long friend of Joe Biden. She's in charge of the Michigan state. But I think it didn't come down to friendships. It came down to what are you able to do when you're in the White House. And when you look at the things, I mean, Camilla is a Rockweiler. When she goes toe-to-toe with Mike Pence on the 7th of October, she is literally going to rip him sideways. If you look at what she did to Jeff Sessions and you look at what she did to Brett Kavanaugh in the courtroom or in a stand one-on-one, she is hard to deal with. That woman is going to come after Pence, and he ain't got a hell in hope to defend himself with because of the amount of things that the Republicans just haven't been able to do in power. There's failure all across the board. Even the economy, the one thing that they had to hold on to, even that is going into the bin. So she's about to rip Mike Pence a new one. But at the end of the day, let's talk about the other 3. Susan Rice. Now, Susan Rice, excellent foreign secretary, and she probably will go on to be he's foreign secretary as well. But obviously the Benghazi issue and all this other things would have just made her a target. In this way, again, it probably would have been best to go with Carmilla simply because of avoiding those issues in the primaries and in the upcoming debates. So look, here we have Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren was the last one. Now the problem with Elizabeth Warren is, and I'll say this again, Kamala Harris she's center left, yeah? Biden is center left. So both of them are singing from the same hymn sheet. Elizabeth Warren is very far left, and a lot of the things that she criticized Joe Biden on in terms of his bills were never really forgiven, and she made him know that straight off the bat. And she was also the last person to endorse Biden. Everybody else, out of all the primary candidates, what they did when they shut up shop, they went and endorsed Joe Biden. She was the last, and it was almost like, what's going on, Elizabeth? The time's ticking and you still haven't made a statement yet. And really that was just out of frustration that the fight that she was fighting and the fight that Bernie Sanders was fighting was a good fight. It was a fight against the establishment. And Joe Biden, just like a Barack Obama, he stood for the establishment. Big Pharma, all these huge companies that were paying massive amounts of money to the campaigns and sort of having their say. And regardless of what happened in your campaign, you've got to stick by what those companies adhere to because they're paying for your campaign. And look, Bernie didn't want any of that. Elizabeth didn't want any of that. And that's why they got a lot of support. They got a lot of vote just because of that. And I think here what you've got is a lot of people thought that was too extreme and Biden was normal. So people just want normal back. Yeah, when you listen to a lot of voters who backed Biden, that's really what it was. It was that Bernie and Elizabeth were just too far-fetched, freeing up college education, getting rid of college debt, total free Medicare and things like that. People just didn't think that that was in the ballpark for what they wanted. They just wanted to get rid of the guy in the White House and bring normality back. And that's the reason why Joe Biden is running where he is. So overall, guys, as I said, he's got somebody who's competent, he's got somebody who's experienced in that field, and he's got somebody who was running for presidency. And I'm not saying that Elizabeth Warren wasn't, of course she was, but we also know that in terms of the experience to run a campaign, a centre-left campaign, which moderates can adhere to, and that's what it was, guys. Remember, I talked about this all the time. I said, far right is always going to vote far right. Far left is always going to vote far left. The reason why Trump won was because of the swing of independents, the swing voters as well, the people that have voted Republican, have voted Democrat in the past, and he swung their vote. And a lot of the reasons were because of lies, obviously, with Hillary and emails and all these other things of which she was never convicted of. And half of it turned out to be rubbish. Lock her up, lock her up. He the man that need locking up, yeah? When we look at the fact that he's got 65 pending court cases, went bankrupt 4 times, committed 10 accounts of obstruction of justice, and we're only just starting to get ready. So this is the man that was committing all these everybody, 11 people around Trump over the last 3 years have been locked up. And because they were following the instructions that he felt. He's protected because in the Constitution, you are not allowed to touch the president. That doesn't make him innocent, guys. Let's remember that, yeah? A lot of people are saying, oh, but he's innocent. He's not. It's not that he's innocent. It's he's protected by the Constitution. That's how it works. So initially, what you want here, guys, is something that is going to bring back some normality. And I hope they do well. I really do. There are so many things that they can attack him on. And I think the coronavirus is right in people's face right now. Trump has got no economy to protect him. He's completely messed up the coronavirus. I like today, Joe Biden made a speech of exactly what he wanted to do to kind of, buck the curb. And he's talking about 3 months mandatory, of masks, wearing masks, and how important that is. And look, there's no choice here. And I always say this in terms of leadership as a manager. I know that when you do make a decision, you've got to make it for the team and don't ask people's opinions. Because if you ask people's opinions, you'll end up with 100 different answers. As a leader, you're the man that has to set the tone. You have to set the stage. And that's something that Trump didn't do. He said, okay, governors, senators, it's up to you. You go out and do whatever you want. And what that caused was absolute pandemonium. Trump was on record saying we want to see a 14-day downturn before we can go back and open up shops. Within 24 hours, all the shops opened up. There was no direction, no leadership, no nothing, and all that's happened since then is the cases have super spiked, not spiked. They've gone from 4,000, 1,000 cases per day to over 60,000 cases per day, and the best expression I could use with this is that the dam is truly broken, yeah? The water, the floodgates, everything has just gone in terms of America. No leadership, and COVID is just completely out of sync with what's going on with almost every country in the world. Everyone's battling the case, everyone's doing what they're told, everyone's showing leadership, and America hasn't. So the conversation that Joe Biden had today and with Kamala, it was both of them that talked, was just out of sheer leadership. It was, we're going to take charge of this. We're going to buck the trend. We're going to get America back to where it needs to be. And we're going to do it with true leadership. We are going to take charge. We're going to take responsibility. Remember when Trump put his hands up and said, it ain't got nothing to do with me, yeah? Biden saying, no, it's got everything to do with me. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to take charge. And that's what people need. So listen, well done to Camilla. Big shout out to you, and we'll see how progress goes as time goes on. And let me know what you guys think. A really important issue, this, because even though we watch from afar and every country in the world is watching, that's the type of leadership that that happens right now. America's foreign policies is at an all-time low. Almost nobody wants to deal with Trump. Yeah, he's in bed with dictators. This is a guy who doesn't trust in his own agencies and trusts the likes of North Korea and trusts the likes of Russia and China and talks up dictators like he respects them, but they don't respect him. Yeah. So, guys, that's where I'm going to leave it. Let me know what your thoughts are. And peace. I'll speak to you guys later, man. Nice one.